In this video, we are going to do this part as shown on the page. It's called 5.15WW. Not exactly sure why. My guess is Professor Haley might have gotten it out of some workbook or a textbook, and that was the name of it there. I don't know. But if we look at this, we have a consistent cross-section shape. We have a consistent shape, and then it's extended not in a straight line, but a straight line to start and then a curve. Now, we have not done that up until this point. And you can imagine that the tools we have or we've done so far won't actually let us create this. We can create that cross-sectional shape and then go in a straight line, but we don't have a way to keep that consistent shape and then curve it. I believe it was last week that we did the loft, but the loft won't help us here either. We don't really have a transitional piece. That's what lofts were for. We have what's called a sweep. And that's what we are going to learn today is a new function called sweep, where you draw a cross-sectional shape, and then you draw the path of that shape, and then the cross-sectional piece will extend the path that you designate and create solid material along that path. So let's go to Inventor. Here's your finished product, and let's get started. File, new. If I was to guess this piece is metric, does it say anywhere on it? It does not, but the fact that it's 85 probably makes me feel like we're more likely to be in millimeters than inches. So let's do metric, standard MMIPT. And we're going to start a new sketch. And the first thing that we are going to do is just draw this cross-sectional shape. And I know you can't see it all too well, but it looks like it goes, starting here, it goes down 10, over 12, up 10, over 1, down at an angle, up at an angle, over 1. And that angle being 120. So let's draw that. And I'm going to practice using the mirror command as well. So I'm going to do half of it first. So I'm going to go over 6, up 10, over 1, down at an angle, and close it out. Now I'm going to go ahead and add a dimension for here. And I'm going to say a dimension between these two. So bringing back your geometry days, if the angle from here to here is 120, what will be that little angle over there? Well, if we cut it halfway, then that angle right here would be 60, and that would be a right angle right there, which is 90, so we have 30 left. So that little angle right here will be 30. Also, because we're using the mirror, you have to create a mirror line. So I'm going to hit a line and then do a construction line to be the reference. So I'm going to go from the origin and just go somewhere above it. Trim out that little extra area right here. Okay, uncheck center line, or sorry, uncheck construction line, so subsequent lines that you create are not going to be drawn as a construction line. And now we're going to do the mirror. Hit mirror, select, look how select is blue. We want to select the lines we want to mirror. Once I've selected all my lines, you then manually hit mirror line, and now you select the line you want to mirror this about. In my case, it's this right here. Click, apply, done. You could delete this line if you want. We're done with it. You can leave it. It's only a construction line. And we're going to hit finish sketch. And again, if you try to extrude this, it's only going to go in one direction. We don't really have a way to have this shape be extruded out a weird non-linear path. So that's where the sweep function will come in. But first, now we have to draw the path that this will follow. It's a weird view. Let this kind of manually do it. Okay, so I'm going to do a new sketch. And now you have to choose a plane that you are going to have this sketch move about. So let's look over here. We have the front section right here. Imagine that being like the front of the piece right here. And we now have to figure out a way to draw a line that will give us this path right here. So you would need a plane that runs perpendicular through the middle, which in my case would be this plane right here. It runs perpendicular through the front cross section. Okay. And now all you're drawing is the path that this is going down. Imagine it being, I don't know, I'm trying to think of an example. Maybe like a ski lift. I don't know. I'm struggling for an example. I didn't think of one ahead of time. Like you have a path right here, and this is kind of like the little front piece that kind of rides along it, and it's going to follow like the cable of the path, and then wherever it goes through, it creates solid material as it goes by. I don't know. Throw me a bone. So I'm going to create a simple path that's going to go 85 down or 85 over, down 20 with the radius of 15. And I'm going to have the starting point be kind of where the midpoint of this is. Not like the little cross portion right here, but rather this portion above. Like if you were to extend that across in the middle. So I'm just going to draw a line that goes, what did I say, 85? 85 across, and then straight down 20. And then I'm going to fill it 15. And then I'm going to manually adjust the height. I'm going to say I want the dimension from here to be 10. Now that it's 10, see how what I mean? The cross section right here is starting right here, and as it moves along this path, everywhere this cross section traverses through, solid material will be created. So here's your plane, here's your path. Together with the sweep command, you will create that little like gun shape. So let's talk about how to do the sweep command. I'm going to hit sweep and the dialog box appears. In order to do the sweep, you need two things. One is called a profile, the other is a path. The profile is going to be your sketch that's not already consumed, that just has a simple closed geometric shape to it. The path will be the trajectory along it, and it has to kind of be perpendicular to the geometry you created. In this case, Inventor already knows that my sketch 1 needs to be the profile because it's the only closed loop in the project. Notice how it's already blue. So I'm going to have to go ahead and choose path, and I'm going to tell it the path that this must sweep along. So select right here. It gives me a cool little preview, and I'm going to hit OK. Path does not intersect profile. Sure, hit yes. And we have a beautiful piece. Now, I don't really like that as my home view, so I'm going to kind of change it. Yeah, I like this as my home view. Let's make this current view as my home view. Okay. So now I need to create the little base to it right here. And the base is a landing pad. Looks like 18 by 38, and it's centered along it. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new sketch on the bottom of this right here. And there might be a better way to do what I'm about to do, but this way works, so this is the way I'll show you. But you got to create a rectangular box. And the first thing I do when I draw this part is I create a construction line that's 5 feet from the edge over here, or 5 millimeters. I think this makes sense in a minute. So I'm just gonna kind of draw a construction line from there to there, which is gonna be that 10, and then halfway, now I can do the halfway line. I'm gonna go from here down. I promise this will make sense while I'm doing this in a little bit, because it's difficult to center this without doing that step. So now I'm going to do a rectangle, and I'm actually going to do the rectangle 2-point center. So because I have this line now, I can choose the center of this rectangle to be the midpoint of this line. So right here, boom. And then the larger distance is 38, and the small one's 18. So 38 tab 18, Boom. Now I have a rectangle that's centered where I want it. That is difficult to do without having done that little construction line right here. You could continue drawing. I can do it all in one step. I could do my radius, my circle, and then do one extrusion, or I can extrude it now and then do all that good stuff later. I guess I'll do it that way just to show you practice doing fillets on 3D mode, not on a 2D sketch. So I'm going to extrude it 5, I believe it was. And we're good. So now I'm going to add some fillets, and they were, what were they, 4? Yeah, 4 radius 4 fillets. So I'm going to choose the 4 pieces right here. Hit OK. Now I'm going to add the holes. So I'm going to do the hole. For me, they're linear holes. For you, don't have to click anything, or you don't have to select the type of hole. Choose the face. It's his face right here. And you have to do references. So let's talk about the references. This hole right here is 9 from this edge. It's half of 18. But how far is it from this edge? It actually takes a little bit of thinking. So if it's centered halfway, what's that say, 26, it would be 13 from the center. And if this is 38 overall, half would be 19. So that would be 6 from the edge. That's a little bit of math right there. There's several ways to come to that answer, but the center of this circle is 6 from this edge. So I'm going to choose that as my reference and tell it you are 6 from that edge. Choose this line right here. You are 9 from that edge, and your diameter is 5. Hit apply because I want to do the other one, and I'm going to do the same thing. This face, 6 from this line, 9 from that line, and hit OK. The only thing left, I believe, is all unmarked radii equals R1, meaning that wherever you see a radius that doesn't have a dimension somewhere else, then it's going to be a fillet or a fillet with radius 1. And I see that along this edge. It kind of looks like it's welded there. So I'm going to go to fillet. And I'm going to say the radius is 1. Now, typically, we've done edges. And you could do edges. You would just have a lot of things to select. However, you can choose a different mode. I'm assuming this is relatively similar to 2020. Of course, I'm using 2018. But if you choose loop, you can now choose an entire loop of surface or loop of edges on the same plane. So I can now choose this entire loop right here and do it all in one shot. And now I believe that we're good. I don't know if I see any other radii. If I miss one, pick it up, but I won't take off as long as you have what I have right here. So let's do a file, save as, and we will call this, what was it called? 5.15 WW, 5.15 WW. And that's it for this first video. In the next video, I will show you what I want you to put on the drawing file.